Thanks very much for joining us. For those who don't know, just tell us a little bit more about the company, SFO Capital Partners, and also the strategy.
SFO Capital Partners is a global investment manager. We focus solely on real estate. We're based in London. We're present in the US and in a few European markets where we have boots on the ground. We've acquired about $1.5 billion in assets. We have ambitions clearly to grow this number by multiple folds. In terms of strategies, you look at the US from one side, where we've been driven by demographic and we focus on housing, where we've acquired some 6,000 multifamily housing units, and we continue to aggressively acquire and grow our portfolio in the US. I would say mainly eastern US, with a focus also on Texas. In Europe, it's a bit different. We're more focused on the commercial aspect of things, on the office side, as well as the light industrial and logistic side. We've invested actively in Germany, where we are present, and in Paris, where we are also present. We do take, in some instances where we are comfortable, we do take some opportunistic development risk, and we have done a number of developments in London, for example. But overall, I would say we invest across the spectrum, from income-generating assets in the US to value-add assets in Europe. We like markets like Paris, key German cities, and the UK. These are markets we like, and we intend to grow in these markets.
How do you see, I suppose, the comparison between the kind of operating in the US and the operations in Europe? Are there kind of different trends in each of those different areas?
For us, there are different dynamics in both markets, and that's why the way we operate, we have different teams that are overseeing each market. And each market, I mean, you have to be domestic when you operate in a market, so we have boots on the ground in the different markets we operate. The US for us has been mainly driven by demographics, as I said, and the fact that we have a growing renting population and a young population that is much more mobile, the different trends that they adopt. So renting is one of them. In addition, I mean, construction costs today has become increasingly prohibitive to build and to be profitable for given the where rental prices are. So we're really focusing on buying apartments in the US that we can rent. And in terms of dynamic, the demand is there because there is still a supply and demand gap, a significant supply and demand gap, given how expensive it is to build, and given the in-migration that's happening between some northern cities to the south, where you have probably better weather and universities, availability of talent, and probably better fiscal environment for companies that are moving to Texas, for example, where we've seen significant growth. Europe is a bit different. Europe is more a tale of cities. Each city has its own dynamics. And I would say what we like about Europe is that the office market is very solid. In some of the European cities that we are focused on, we're still talking about historically low vacancy rates. And the leasing risk is extremely manageable. And it's priced in. So for us, it's mainly being able to focus on quality product that can attract quality tenants in prime locations.
A lot of focus on ESG, sustainability, impact. Well, I suppose, what's your take on that, and what are you doing as a business in that area?
Indeed, Richard, ESG is a topic that is on top of all of our minds. We take it very seriously. This goes into our investment thesis. We look at the possibility, if we are buying dated assets, we look at the possibility always of making sure we can implement the highest level of energy efficiency within buildings and achieve a high level of certifications that allow our building to be compliant. I think all the directions across assets is going towards more greener buildings, and there's no way around it. We strongly believe in it. And we would continue to implement it and focus a lot on achieving it across our portfolios. On the residential side, although some of the assets are a bit older, we're talking about the US, what we're trying to do is at least implement initiatives that can create energy efficiencies and allow for our buildings to become more efficient.
Great. It's a really interesting area, I think, and a lot of focus on that from the investment side, certainly. Thanks very much for joining us.